It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From big TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
That's what happens when you're a little bit preoccupied. What's going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You are checking out an all-new episode of the RCWR show for this Monday night of August 7th, 2023. I think at this point, this is episode number 1041 for us. I'm actually circling back right now and checking as we speak. Hope you guys, yes, and officially it is episode number 1041. Hope you guys been fantastic. I am somewhat, I am still a little bit tired. I'm still dealing with a little bit of jet lag coming off of Summerslam weekend. I don't know, maybe your man had ate a little bit too good. Maybe I ate a little bit too hearty. I don't know, but I have been dealing with some serious jet lag coming from SummerSlam Saturday night. So, hey, look, maybe it's actually a good thing that they did not make it a two-night event, because I don't know how I would have been able to find the energy to, you know what I'm talking about. So, hope you guys been okay. My weekend, other than SummerSlam, pretty good. Had a little bit of a hiccup, though, and I was so bummed out. You know, for the first time in my entire life, your man actually lost his wallet. Now, luckily, no cash money was inside the wallet. All I basically had in there was my medical card, my state ID. I had my daggone social security card in there, which I had always meant to remove and put elsewhere and everything. Now, I still got a birth certificate, all right, that's tucked away. You should never be walking around with a birth certificate, because that's pretty much it right there, all right? I had, I didn't have that many cards in there, payment cards. So it was really easy for me to get in contact with my financial institutions, let them know what was going on, get them deactivated, get some new ones sent out and everything. I did my best to retrace my steps, and it was crazy because my wife, she thought for certain it's got to be in the car because you didn't go anywhere else. And, we had decided to do one delivery order on Sunday. And I should have listened to her, because she told me, she said, I really don't feel like going out. And I said, what's wrong? She goes, I'm just not feeling it today. I said, I hear you. Sometimes you just got to shake it off, though. And we were dealing with so much of back and forth. It was very easy to get confused for this one delivery that we were trying to do. It wasn't even a large delivery. It was just multiple items that was just going to one person and everything. And somehow in the process of all of that, lost my wallet. I wasn't too upset And I think that's mainly because, okay, look, you know, sooner that you were on top of it, you realize that your stuff disappeared, you know, the better that you can. But I did retrace all my steps trying to see if anybody had, hey, did you come across a wallet by chance? And it was nope, 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 nope. So it was just, okay, that sucks. And something that Tams had been trying to tell me to do for years now. She's been trying to get me to invest in a fanny pack. And I've said to her, no, I don't care about those. No, are you kidding me? I don't have a personal wish. I never cared for them. I felt as though I never had need of them and everything. So I sat around yesterday and I actually was looking up different fanny packs on Amazon. And I found one fanny pack that, okay, you know what? I really, really like this one, but let me go see what's going on with the reviews. Let me see what other people are saying. And shout out to you guys that were leaving those reviews for that particular fanny pack, because there was one review that I was really, really keen on. It was from a guy that talked about how he is a big boned dude. He's about 6'10", 6'9", he weighs about 415 pounds, and he basically was saying, look, if you're a big dude kind of like me, you know, or you're much smaller but you're still considered a big person, you got to go with this fanny pack. This is very comfortable. You can wear it around your waist. Hell, you can even wear it around your shoulder. You'll be good to go. I can cram so much stuff in it. And I was able to find it for a really good deal, which was, my God, I think it was about $11 to $12. I was able to get it. And they were able to send that out to me overnight. So I had it first thing when I got up this morning. And if you actually go to the Twitter page, I actually showed it off. And, you know, now I'm kicking myself in the ass going, man, I should have had this a lot sooner. What the hell? So, yeah, but, you know, that was it. So not really too much of a monkey wrench as far as driving my car. Today, at least, I pretty much... Luckily, I took a picture of my actual ID months and months ago, so I had that on the phone ready to go just in case something was going on. Already paid the money to get a replacement card sent in the mail, so that's going to be arriving in a couple of days. Meanwhile, wifey was able to print out for me a interim document, because you know what happens when you lose your actual driver's license, the physical card. You typically got to go to your local Department of Motor Vehicles site, and then you have to, you know, give them the heads up so they can send you out a replacement. And depending on your state, county, or whatever, really depends. But out here in the DC metropolitan area, you pretty much got to drop $20 to get a replacement and everything. So yeah, it's not too bad. So a little bit of inconvenience right now, but honestly, it could be a lot worse. So look, if it happens to you, just first of all, stay calm, stay collected, do your very best. As soon as you realize that your joint's missing, do your very best to retrace your steps, especially if you were out in some type of a public setting, and retrace your steps, get in contact with those people as soon as possible. And once you've exhausted everything, including physically going back out there, retracing all your steps, then you do the last phase, which is get in contact with all your financial institutions, deactivate, get replacements sent out, and you'll be good to go. There's so much. Yeah, I tell you what, it's so much different now trying to get replacement cards and all that compared to how it was, say, 15 to 20 years ago, because y'all that's kind of around my age or older, y'all know this for a fact. Back in the day, y'all behind was short. You pretty much was going to have to physically go to a location, submit all the respective paperwork, prove you are who you say you are, and get all these documents. After you submit all those documents, have everything be mailed out to you. Even after the fact, you wouldn't be able to leave with what you needed. You feel what I'm saying? It's like a case of one of my favorite lines from Common the rapper, one of my favorite lyrics from one of his most popular songs. He goes, it's called The Questions. And he goes, it's on the Water for Chocolate album, a freaking masterpiece, check it out. But he goes, why do I need ID to get ID? if I had ID, I wouldn't need ID, right? It's kind of one of those type of deals. So other than that, nice, relaxing, getting ready for the fall semester. Had checked out a ton of books that I'm going to be needing for just some of my classes. So I'm gearing up. I'm ready to go. It's going to be an exciting semester. I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, speaking of fall semester and all that good stuff, you know, I see that as far as WWE and their fall lineup goes, you know, typically once SummerSlam is over and done with, it's in the books, usually WWE will get the head start during the month of August to set the tone for what fans can expect for the fall. And man, did they do it in a huge way. As for tonight's WWE RAW broadcast and going forward, we are going to have Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. Michael Cole back at the helm for Monday Night Raw. Nice breath of fresh air. I know there are a lot of people, definitely myself, part of that list, not really a fan of Kevin Patrick when it's all said and done. And look, he can talk about how difficult it is, to how challenging the job is. He can, and look, nobody is disputing that fact. Nobody. I don't think I've ever come across anybody out there that has denied that being a announcer for any wrestling promotion is difficult, that it has its challenges, and the research that goes into it, and how you have to prepare yourself and everything. I don't think anybody has ever disputed that. I believe, and if I'm incorrect, y'all, let a man know. But where the majority of fans' criticism, feedback on Kevin Patrick is coming from is just, dude, it's not your fault, but you just aren't ready. You have no business being in this position that you are being put in when there's other people that are 10 times better at this position than you are right now. Now, maybe you can get better in due time, but right now you're not ready. So for those who maybe were under the impression that Kevin Patrick, this was going to be it, we've pretty much seen the last of him. Maybe they were going to send him to NXT, or maybe they were going to, you know, I don't know, but maybe they were going to. That is one of the most weirdest comments I have seen in my entire life, by the way. I wish I could tell you guys the comment that I'm reading, but there are some really, let me put it to you this way. Guys, I'm flattered that some of you all's, and I mean men particularly, I'm flattered that you all find me attractive and all of that. Trust me, it does my ego a world of good. Not that I need your approval, but it's nice to know that among same-sex guys out there, you know, it's nice to know that some of you guys find me attractive and everything, but I am happily married, have been married for over 2 years now. Beautiful, lovely little woman. And yeah, your boy Lee, he's all about the ladies. Appreciate the love though, but I'm all about the ladies. But yeah, don't creep a brother out with some of the comments that you're putting out there. There's some weird comment I saw just now where this guy was talking about something about smear mayonnaise on me. He wants to smear mayonnaise on me after I'm like done jogging or something like that. I don't know what the hell, but you need Jesus, let me tell you that. Seriously. Anyway, so, you know, in regards to Kevin Patrick, you know, it's not a case where we have seen the absolute last of him. He is still going to be on Friday Night SmackDown. Now, the way that this is going to be set up, it would appear that happening for Friday SmackDowns, it's going to be a 3-man booth where Michael Cole, he's going to be doing double duties for the next little bit. Michael Cole will also be on SmackDown, but he'll be joined along with Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick. So it looks as though what they're hoping to do with Kevin Patrick is in time get him up to par with where exactly they expect for him to be as an overall commentator. So with Michael Cole there, and look, we've known for many, many years now that Michael Cole, he has pretty much been in the back in a producing type of role, and he's been helping all the commentators that we have seen over the years, whether you want to talk about Mauro Ranallo or you want to go with Nigel McGuinness or pluck any name that you want to pluck, Michael Cole to some extent, hell, even Pat McAfee, to a certain extent, Michael Cole has been behind the scenes helping where he can and everything. So, look, I hope it helps. I really do hope it helps because, honestly, KP, he seems like, I will say this, based on some of the interviews that I've seen of the young man that he's given, he seems like his heart is in the right place. He seems very passionate about the business and everything. Seems like a very likable person and everything. I really hope the guy succeeds. I really, really do. I want for him to succeed. And maybe with Michael Cole right there and everything, hands on, it's one thing to be behind the scenes trying to coach somebody, and at the same time, it's one thing where you're giving somebody notes on, hey, was checking out what you did this past week. Here's some areas of improvement. Practice this, practice that, practice this, practice that. You're kind of grading them and assessing them that way. And then there's, okay, I'm actually going to work right beside you. And I'm going to show you how. And look, either he's going to be able to rise to the occasion or he's going to come up short. So we will see what happens with the man in good time and everything. But I definitely thought it was a nice refresher. I definitely thought it was, as far as checking out Raw, and we're about less than 48 hours after SummerSlam, and here we are seeing a new commentary team, and you're going, okay, all right. And it was commercial free for the first hour, so that's a nice way to really reel you in, get you nice and situated and all that. So yeah, very, very, and the exact comment that I can read to you guys: spoon feed me mayonnaise, daddy. I want to smell you after you jog. There are some crazy out there, man. Seriously, y'all, some crazy. Let me tell you, yeah. That's a quick way to get yourself off of my ship. Get off of my ship. Anyway, Shinsuke Nakamura. We have seen this slow burn with this guy the past couple of weeks now, but it's finally gotten to that point where we've seen, on top of frustrations coming from Nakamura, we have seen this underlining beast where Nakamura is pretty much, you know what, I'm tired of always being on the sidelines, piggybacking for this person. I'm tired of taking a seat to this person. What about me? What about Nakamura? What about everything that I have accomplished in my respected career? Here I am. I've been playing the game, so to speak, and I've been a model employee. I've done any and everything that's been asked of me. And where's my opportunity? Where's my title shot? Where's my chance to be a world heavyweight champion? Okay, you know what? I see how it is. No more. I'm not going to continue to wait on the sidelines anymore. I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to make my presence felt. I will not be taken lightly. I will not be considered a second fiddle anymore. I will no longer be ignored. That is basically what we've seen from Nakamura in recent weeks, and the big payoff is what went down tonight, and it was beautifully well executed. I loved how this was laid out. So, we started off there with Cody Rhodes opening up the show, and ecstatic over the fact that here was WWE in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right there in Brock Lesnar's backyard. This is where he was born and raised. This is where he accomplished a lot, especially as far as amateur wrestling goes and everything. Now, for those of you, Brock Lesnar in the house? No, it would appear that potentially that is the last that we've seen of Brock Lesnar, at least for now. Is it possible that he may come back somewhere down the road? We shall wait and see. There are reports out there that Brock Lesnar, he's at that point in his life right now where he wants to spend more time with his family. He wants to, kick back and enjoy the fruits of the labor and everything. And I get that. 46 years old, Big 5-0 is right around the corner there. He has done a lot and then some for the family, and honestly, I think Brock will continue to want to do stuff for WWE if the money is right. So I know it's kind of fun to speculate on the future of Brock Lesnar and whether or not this man is going to continue to. It's funny because, and we've had the question pop up from time to time in regards to Brock Lesnar. What do we think is going to happen with him? It's very unpredictable. Just when you think you know what could potentially be going on with Brock, you always get surprised. And right, so in regards to Brock Lesnar, I would say expect the unexpected until you officially hear some type of a press release from Brock Lesnar and his people that he is done with professional wrestling. That is it. He's done with WWE. He's done with wrestling in general. You're not going to be seeing him wrestling for some other promotion. If he ever was to get the itch to do something again, it will always be with WWE because they've been good to him, yada, yada, yada. Unless you see some type of a statement like that, then Brock Lesnar, you just got to expect the unexpected. He could pop up at the next pay-per-view coming up. He could pop up at Survivor Series. He could pop up at Fastlane. You just don't know. So expect the unexpected. But I like how Cody was out there and he was reminiscing about the feud that they had, that epic encounter from SummerSlam. Which, by the way, thank you so much to everybody that had checked out the SummerSlam post-show. Be it you checked it out live, or you represented on demand, or you checked out the audio version on the downloads, was checking out the stats all across the mediums, and was looking pretty good. I love SummerSlam. This is usually that time of the year. Most families are back from vacation. They're getting ready for school and everything. I love this time of the year because usually that's when the numbers, I think many podcasts can admit this too, they go through a little bit of a decline during the summer, and that's mainly because everybody is out on vacation, they're enjoying the weather, all that good stuff. So you see a bit of a decline, but usually right around this time going into Labor Day, the numbers go back because now it's a case where people are trying to catch up on what all they've missed and everything, and usually we can ride that momentum going into WrestleMania for next year and everything. So big shout out to you guys that represented checking out the post show and everything. So I liked how Cody set the tone, and ultimately Cody letting it be known, hey, we saw something that Brock Lesnar did before, very uncharacteristic, trying to shake my hand and everything. And I like how he brought his mom into the mix saying, hey, dummy, you know what that was all about, right? This is about Brock Lesnar acknowledging you. And so, you hear that and you're going, oh, okay, so we're kind of turning this into Cody and his attention maybe being put right back on Roman Reigns and trying to finish that story and everything. Great documentary, by the way. Once again, that Cody Rhodes, Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary. If you guys did not get a chance to check that out, sincerely, you owe it to yourselves to check it out. For those of you that maybe don't have a Peacock subscription, or maybe you did watch and you want to know my thoughts about the doc overall, there's a show excerpt reviewing it that's on the YouTube channel. So definitely have at it when you all get an opportunity. So Cody out there and everything acknowledging, so Cody now feels as though he can beat anybody in the world since he was able to tackle and conquer the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Well, this just cues up the World Heavyweight Champion, the Raw World Heavyweight Champion, and Seth Rollins to come out with the most ugliest pair of yellow sunglasses I've ever seen in my life. It made him look like Elastic Man, and he had these gigantic yellow rubbery boots, and apparently people, I don't know what the hell was going on here, but apparently you had some people that were taking to eBay with these same boots, and they were asking for like $1,200,000. Yeah. I mean, this was some craziest attire that I stay seeing from Cody Rhodes here, man. Seriously. But anyway, Seth Rollins interrupts and says that, hey, if I didn't know any better, I think that maybe you were talking about me and everything as far as you can beat anyone. I say, why not? Let's go on ahead. Let's put that to the test. And remember, this is the first time that we've seen Cody and Rollins in the ring together. And I love how everything has been built up between these two men and the seeds that have been planted long before Cody even came back into the WWE and everything. This has been playing out rather well. Once again, though, just when we think we're going to see something go down between these two men definitively, it gets interrupted by Judgment Day minus Finn Balor. More on Finn Balor in just a hot little bit, but Judgment Day coming out there, Damian Priest letting it be known, yo, you don't dictate the world title picture scene, Mr. Money in the Bank, Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest does. So they're taking their jabs at Rollins and Cody. Nice little thing that went down here. Finn Balor coming from out of nowhere, attacking Seth Rollins, still pretty fumed up, obviously, from what had went down from SummerSlam Saturday night. Rest of Judgment Day beating up on Cody Rhodes. We saw Seth Rollins come out for the save, minus Kevin Owens. Kind of making you wonder what's going on with Kevin Owens there. This pretty much led up to a backstage segment where Cody and Rollins not seeing eye to eye. Sami Zayn trying to be the peacemaker here and letting them know they've all got to operate on the same page, especially since they've been put in a tag match for later in the night main event match against Judgment Day. So he's trying to do his best to have them all focus and everything. Sami Zayn getting jumped in a backstage segment later on in the night. He got jumped by Finn Balor's good buddy, McDonough, got jumped by him. And McDonough, making his presence and his opinions felt. At one point, there was a very heated exchange between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley, once again, trying to be the peacemaker here, trying to let Balor know, dude, what went down Saturday, you got it all wrong. Look, we were out there to help you. That's it, plain and simple. Obviously, things didn't go according to plan, but she's doing her best to really keep it all together here, keep this group intact. Balor having a cooler head, feeling where Rhea's coming from, trying to break bread with Damian Priest, but then McDonough comes into the picture and says, look, it's not my place, but you want my honest opinion. Ever since that Money in the Bank briefcase has entered the picture, it's really caused more strife, more division with you two. My advice, get rid of that briefcase already. And he walked off. Priest, not a fan of the young man, asking who the hell he is. He doesn't even have a place in the Judgment Day. Well, who he is definitely relevant, and it hits very close to home for Finn Balor. So you definitely want to put some respect on that young man's name. So I'm loving all of these interesting dynamics that's going on here, these conflict of interest that we got happening here. So not only are we continuing to see conflict here with the Judgment Day, but we've also got this overlapping conflict that's happening, particularly with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, where Balor is still infatuated with this man. Now add into the mix Rollins, who thinks that Balor is in the rearview mirror, but he's not, as as everything that had happened so far. He's trying to pick things right back up with where he left it with Cody Rhodes. So we got all of these interesting overlaps that's occurring. Good stuff right here. And somehow we still have the undisputed tag champions still in the mix of all of this. Loving it. So look, I don't know what's going on with Sami Zayn. I took a picture of it and shared it on social media, but he's got this big old knot that is on his elbow. It looks really, really, really bad. I would like to believe, I sadly didn't get a chance to rewind the episode from tonight, but I would imagine something had went down when Sammy went out there for the save and he was brawling and everything. He must have gotten injured somewhere during that period, because the next time we see him and he's getting jumped and everything by JD, then we see that big old noggin that's on his left elbow. And I think it might have been Eddie, or maybe it was Lightning, that said, yo, isn't this the same type of injury that had went down with John Cena? Didn't John Cena have a noggin like that on his elbow, several years back, and he actually ended up being out for a hot little bit? And yes, I do recall that. Right, if memory serves correctly. So I would imagine Sami Zayn, if it's what we think it is, it definitely looks like it hurts. Just looking at it, you're going, ooh. I mean, it was a big old noggin. That bad boy looked like, if I were to really describe that for people that didn't watch Raw tonight, I would describe that as a big old tennis ball. That you just take that tennis ball and you just put it on top of your elbow. I mean, the way it was protruding, it was nasty. It was nasty looking. So obviously, Sami Zayn not able to go. Shinsuke Nakamura getting wind of what all had went down and telling Seth Rollins straight up, hey, if you need a third man, somebody that you can trust, I'm your guy. Seth Rollins, hey, Shinsuke, I've always had a lot of great respect for you. You know what? You're it. You're definitely the third man. See you out there in the main event match tonight. Well, devious intentions, I tell you what, because Seth Rollins played right into the hands of Shinsuke Nakamura. Fun little main event match. A lot of weird things that was going on in here. I like the fact that the good guys went over, but post-match, I like all that added drama that we continue to have going on there between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins and Sammy, once again trying to be the peacemaker. Guys, come on, we just picked up the win for one night. Put the differences to the side. Come on, it's all good, man. Come on, we're nothing but boys here. Come on. And they buried the hatchet, and as they went to go celebrate and everything, Nakamura just cold turning heel and decides to drop Seth Rollins with the Kinshasa before rolling out. Cody able to see what all had went down. Sammy seeing what went down, but they weren't able to retaliate. So I love the way that all that had went down. I love the way all that had went down. Great way to end the show. So now what I can't help but wonder is next week, is Rollins going to be coming out there? And is Rollins going to say something along the lines of, Cody, you set this all up. You had this planned out. You must have said something to Shinsuke, and whatever scheming, manipulating that you were able to do. Is that how Seth Rollins going to spin this? Or are we going to see a Rollins that's going to come out and he's pretty much going to challenge Nakamura to come out to the ring, get in his face, get right down to the heart of the matter. What exactly are we going to see? How's it going to play out right here? So there's a couple of different ways that WWE could go about this, but I hope that honestly they just go with the latter for all intents and purposes, and Nakamura comes out, and because now we really need to know. So what exactly is going on with Rollins? Because truly, definitive, we need to know. Is Rollins still a tweener at this point? Is he a heel or is he a face? Because he's coming out there, he's embracing the crowd, he's encouraging them to cheer along his music and all that other stuff. And then, not for nothing, but when you're looking at the whole Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins aspect, you're going, well, Cody technically still owes Seth Rollins a receipt for all that time that he had missed in storyline and everything, and they've been dancing around each other for quite a long time here and everything, and Seth has been the same, and I can just imagine how that promo is going to go down between Cody and Rollins, where Cody is saying to Seth, look, you can have the flashy outfits, the attires, all you want, you can have the people singing your little song and everything, and that might give them a good feel moment, but I know enough about you at your core. I know what you're all about, and you have a heart of blackness, my friend, and you can't fool me and any everybody else forever, right? I see right through your smoke and mirrors, right? So it's a lot of interesting overlaps that you got that's going on here. So great storytelling that you got. Meanwhile, other areas from Monday Night Raw, Chad Gable picked up a victory over Ricochet, Tommaso Ciampa, and Matt Riddle. And if I'm not mistaken, as a result of this, Chad Gable will get a future shot at the Intercontinental Champion Gunther. So more on that. That was actually a pretty fun matchup. I think the right person went over in that one. LA Knight making a rare Monday Night Raw appearance. I was waiting for Bianca Belair to just pop up from out of nowhere and say, boy, you don't even go here. I was waiting for that, but we didn't get that. It would have been nice though. Miz, pretty pissed off over the fact that earlier in the day, he comes across LA Knight having a photo shoot spread and everything when it was supposed to be his time and all that. So this led to The Miz having a pretty heated moment in the middle of the ring where he was just mouthing off about Knight and everything. This had Knight come out. Great ovation from the crowd. I mean, super. This dude is super over. So there's definitely no denying it. He is super over with the crowd. And we saw a really nice back and forth on the microphone between these two guys. This was definitely, as far as highlights of the night, besides Shinsuke Nakamura, who honestly I felt that WWE, Vince McMahon and crew, they had been sleeping on for such a long time. There was that period where right after he came up from NXT, they were making him a nice personal pet project, and then it just cooled off extremely quick. And I get it. It is mainly because of the language barrier and obscurity. The unknown, the great unknown that pretty much Nakamura was in for the longest period of time and everything. But, it seems that now, he's kind of getting back to basics here. I'm loving it. I'm loving what's going on with Nakamura. But LA Knight coming out there, handled himself extremely well against Miz, the veteran. I jotted down some of the notes that had went down here, and going over what, this person said this person said that. That would just be an injustice. I would say that, look, I've already said this was highlight of the night. When this clip becomes available on WWE's YouTube channel, I would definitely recommend you go out of your way and you check it out. I love the fact that some of the elements that were used in this promo, particularly from Mike the Miz, I love that we were borrowing stuff that's been said about LA Knight, a la Kevin Nash, a la some of the fans. You know, I love that they had Miz touch on some of those points. Hey, you're just Attitude Era fanboy, and yo, man, I've been chomping at the bit, busting my ass for 20 years, and look at everything that I've accomplished. You've been at this for 20 years, and what the hell have you accomplished? I love all of these things that essentially were taken from what people have been saying on social media and other wrestling personalities and everything, and you know, you're essentially using this to try to help propel, you know, help LA Knight get to that next level and everything. So this was a really fun segment. Of course, you got to give the people what they want. You got to make sure they go home happy. The fact that Knight was able to connect with Blunt Force Trauma on The Miz, great stuff right there. Just fantastic stuff right there. Let's see what else happened in the night. Shayna Baszler taking on Zoe Stark. Becky Lynch, she basically was hyping up her upcoming match with Trish Stratus, and we saw Zoe Stark pretty much cut her off. It's just one thing after another, but you're trying to figure out what's going on here with Becky Lynch. Are we going to see Becky Lynch wrestle here? What's going on? And somehow Becky Lynch was essentially just out there just to facilitate a match between Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. That's pretty much what this was all about. It was a decent match, but it went just a little bit too long, and as a result of that, you had some spots in this match that was a bit spotty, that was a little bit sloppy and everything. But you know, I don't think Shayna Baszler, she shouldn't have been involved in this. What I need to see happen is Shayna Baszler from here on out go back to where she was initially, when she was just choking left and right. I need to see that Shayna Baszler come back. I need to see that Baszler, okay? Shayna Baszler, that Shayna Baszler. That's the woman that I want to see come back. That was just women left and right, okay? I mean, she was just left and right tearing a mofo up. That is the Shayna Baszler I need to see return. Trying to give that little nod to where Shayna bumps into Becky Lynch backstage and says, hey, haven't forgotten about you either. I'm going to be coming for the man real soon. First of all, poor choice of words, you know? It's like, I mean, seriously. You know, but you know, we get it and everything. But decent little match for what it was worth. Otis taking on Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser hitting the enziguri, getting the win. About the 2-minute mark. Didn't particularly care about that match. Viking Raiders taking on New Day. New Day making their return minus Big E. Apparently Big E sharing some news that apparently WWE doctors are against him making a in-ring return, and as a result of that, there is talk about trying to see if maybe the big guy can make the transition into color commentary. I don't know if you all had saw that report, but it was from a couple of days ago. It's very easy to have missed this piece of news because all hands were pretty much on deck for SummerSlam weekend and everything. By the way, speaking of SummerSlam weekend, can I give a shout out? Can I give a shout out to my good friend and Julian Cannon from the Nocturnal and Digiday? He actually had participated as part of the media blitz for SummerSlam weekend, and he got to ask some questions to, I believe, Triple H, Paul Levesque. I know for sure he was able to ask a question to LA Knight. It was a really good question that he asked too. I loved it. And he has a piece that he wrote up that's available on the Nocturnal site right now. So I definitely would encourage you guys to go out of your way and check that out when you get a chance. That had put such the biggest smile on my face, sincerely. But Big E who had underwent scans after the 1 year mark, for seeing where everything is with his spine and everything. He's pretty much admitted that the advice that he got from doctors was to avoid wrestling again. So I'm trying to, I have the direct quote. I'm just trying to see where this question was asked, but he had explained, we did the year checkup and all that stuff looked great. But on the other side, I also talked to the spine specialists, people who have worked on other people in the company and done their fusions, and they said, hey, I would not wrestle again if I were you. And apparently the fan favorite was talking to press during a media conference over SummerSlam week in Detroit, where he has been on the ground helping out with tryouts and everything. He noted that at this stage he is focused on quality of life rather than potentially dying in the ring. He went on to say, for me at 37, these are things that I think about. I think about quality of life. When I started this job at 23 and probably had a bit of a death wish and was okay at dying in the ring, I would now like to not die in the ring. I would like to do other things with my life. I don't really have a timeline right now. I'm just grateful to not have any nerve pain. My strength is legit, no issues whatsoever. So he would go on to say, it's something I want to be smart about and make the best decision for my life. I like to have a lot of healthy life ahead of me. I want to be smart about things. Unfortunately, right now, I have no answer. I feel great, but I have nothing. So, still no answer as far as if and when he will ever return to the ring. I don't think he is egging people on whatsoever. Sincerely, I think this is one of those deals where legit Big E is just on a day-to-day, and if you were to ask me straight up, Lee, if you were a betting man, if you were a gambling man, what say you? And I would give you the same response that Big E essentially gave, which is, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's in the air. Look, I'm no spine specialist. I'm no medical doctor, okay? But I can tell you what it's like to suffer from a significant spine injury where you are focused on the quality of life. And I think I've told you guys about it before, but when you're having, a significant issue with your spine and you can't do the most simplistic things like mopping, sweeping, bending over to pick up something, tying a shoe, okay? When you can't do the simplest things like that, when you are having a hard time sitting down on a sofa or trying to pick up something, right? Even if everything is like maybe grocery shopping. Maybe you're grocery shopping, you've got multiple things in your hands, equal weight in both hands, but your spine is really, oof, I can't do this, brother, that quality of life to what Big E is talking about, stuff like that, it really, really messes with your head and everything. And I would imagine that Big E, behind the scenes, I would imagine he's probably talking to, he's probably spoke with Bryan Danielson, he's probably spoken to Edge. I would imagine he's spoken to Triple H. I would imagine he has, as far as the boys go, it's one thing to get the input from medical staff, personnel. It's one thing to get advice from those people. And yeah, it's their job to give it to you right between the eyes. And right, it's one thing for those people, but then you talk to the boys in the back, and right, Yeah, now they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're just going to, from their experience and everything, but you're still in a very delicate position where you go, hey, this is a big decision that you have to make, and only you can make this decision alone. And, you got to outweigh the pros and the cons. It's one of those things where, I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that he can come back, but he would have to wrestle a lot smarter. I would hope he's maybe had a conversation with Kurt Angle. Now there's something right there. I would love to know what Kurt Angle thinks about Big E's injury and all that in this latest piece of news. I know Kurt Angle does a podcast. That's definitely a question that I would love to see Kurt Angle tackle, because if anybody has had significant issues going on there with the neck from over the years of wrestling, Kurt Angle is definitely that guy. Hell, Jerry Lynn as well. Jerry Lynn has gone through his own respected neck issues, but I'm curious what Kurt Angle has to say about that, and what advice would he maybe give Big E. But even at that, I think it's still one of those things where most likely Kurt Angle would say, look, you know the answer deep down inside. It's just whatever you decide to do, you just gotta follow it all the way through. No matter what, you can't fall off the path. You gotta stay with it. But if you were to ask me as a wrestling fan, is there a way that Big E could come back and he could just wrestle a lot smarter, really keep it as grounded as possible and not do things that's going to have him come off his feet and inverted suplex, and don't take a tombstone pile driver. Is there ways that maybe he can go about? And I would say, yeah, there's definitely ways that he can go about. The question is, would he be comfortable with some of those restrictions and trying to wrestle smarter? And then most importantly, with the wrestling promoter be okay with, this is what we're gonna sign off on, and this is what we're gonna have him do. This is how he's gonna be operating from here on out. It's a very delicate situation right there. So something like that, you can't just you can't, especially when it comes to things revolving around the spine and the neck. You can't play around with that. The last thing you want to do is end up like Christopher Reeve or end up like Teddy Pendergrass. That's the last thing that you want. God bless them. They did phenomenal work in the second half of their lives with those horrific injuries that basically left them as a quadriplegic and everything. But, God bless them and everything. But definitely as far as the quality of life that you once knew, that's now changed forever and everything, obviously. So it is a lot to think about. I just wish Big E nothing but the very best and just continue to appreciate those little things in life, but if I were to hear in a week or so, a month or two, or a couple of months down the road that Big E has decided to hang it up and everything, I think that personality-wise, he would do phenomenally well as a host. Whether that is doing content for WWE, maybe being the new host of The Bump, or having him be incorporated in pre-show, post-shows for premium live events, or hell, it doesn't even have to be wrestling related. If you are somebody that, look at the Game Show Network, for example, or, right? I mean, he would definitely thrive extremely well I personally feel he's got that type of a personality. Everybody loves Steve Harvey and what he's able to do with Family Feud and everything. Big E has such a big, bombastic, infectious personality. The humor is definitely there and everything. He could definitely thrive in that type of environment if given the right opportunities. So there's a lot that can still happen for a relatively young guy at this stage in his life, at this stage in his career. So, I really hope nothing but the best for the guy. But yeah, it's great seeing Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston back. We know Kofi Kingston, he was actually not Kofi, it was Xavier. Xavier was out for a little bit because something was going on there with the legs and everything. But he came back, didn't look like he missed a beat. Of course, speaking of injuries, we had got some unfortunate news, and it came courtesy of TMZ. And since then, pretty much WWE has confirmed it. Sonya Deville apparently had injured her knee. Apparently it's a torn ACL, and as a result of that, she is going to be out indefinitely. So that is something where, at tops maybe a year, but she has a torn ACL. She's going to be getting surgery on it. And as far as the status of the Women's Championship, it was not addressed on tonight's Monday Night Raw. I would imagine that they're going to tackle it next week and everything. But because it was not addressed, as far as I can recall, it was not addressed on tonight's Raw. The only thing that was addressed actually was something. Well, let me think about it. They mentioned it, but as far as what's going to happen with the titles, that was not addressed. Yeah, that was not addressed. So remember, the women's tag team titles was last vacated back in May. And that was when Morgan was injured, and that was pretty much forcing Morgan and Rodriguez to give up the titles. And then you had Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler come in, later that May to become the new tag champions. And then from there, you had... because that was a fatal 4-way tag match, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a fatal 4-way, and they defeated Bayley, Io, Sonya Deville, or wait a minute, or was it? Hang on. Yeah, I got the names right. And then Baszler turned on Ronda in June, and that pretty much gave Morgan and Rodriguez the titles right back. But then Deville, Sonya taking the titles. It's a tough break for Sonya Deville, who seemed as though she was finally starting to find her groove as part of the WWE roster, and it definitely helped that she finally had, got the right dance partner in Chelsea Green. They clicked extremely well together. They were doing a lot of great things together. And, this is unfortunate. It's a really bad break. You just hope that when she does come back, that she'll be able to pick up right where she left off and everything. What does this mean for Sonya, or not Sonya, but Chelsea? What does this mean for Chelsea going forward? Because now she's without a tag partner. So as far as creative plans goes, now you're back to the drawing board and trying to figure out, it really brings up an interesting question, which is these tag titles, man, are they cursed? Because it just seems like when you really stop and think about it, you trace these titles all the way back to my girls in Trinity, aka Naomi, and Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. I mean, nothing but bad. Like, even before those girls had got the tag titles, there's just been nothing but bad upon bad upon bad upon bad upon bad in regards to those titles, that you just go, man, I wouldn't wish the worst on my enemy, but Yo, those tag titles, that's taking it to a whole nother level. Now, Sonya Deville, she did take to social media to give a update on her injury and everything. She said, "What's up, guys? So obviously the tag team titles are cursed. I'm just kidding, but not really. Anyway, as all of you probably already know and heard, thank you, TMZ. I have torn my left ACL last week on SmackDown in my match against Bianca and Charlotte. Obviously, I will be out for an extended period of time due to the fact that I have to get surgery tomorrow. So she's going to be getting it on Tuesday. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to everyone who has sent their well wishes and messaged me and everything. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot. Obviously, you guys all know that I've been working the last 8+ years in the WWE and in my wrestling career to obtain a title of some sort. Finally got my hands on the women's tag team titles with Chelsea. I think we've been champs for 20-something days. And she went on to say, obviously, it's super bitter to say that it's come to an end due to an injury, especially being that it's my first injury in wrestling or really in sports in general. And I've been a lifelong athlete since I was 5-6 years old. Obviously, it's super disappointing. It could have not come at a worse time, but I don't really think any injury comes at a great time. That's kind of how the cookie crumbles. She would go on to say, what I will say is that my life has kind of been a journey of trials and tribulations, just how so many others have been. We all go through ups and downs, but something that has kind of always been part of my character and who I am is I love being tested. I love testing my willpower and my strength and my mental and physical durability. I feel like coming back from this injury, although it's unfortunate, I feel like it's going to give me a bigger motivation and just passion for what I already love doing, and that's being in the WWE. So I love you guys. I wanted to thank you guys for all your support and to tell you that I'm going to be back sooner rather than later. I'm going to be ready to put up my hair and square up. So, very unfortunate, tough break that's going on. It really, really is, because, you go back to Sonya Deville, and she's been involved with WWE. My God. I mean, she first signed up with WWE 2015. That far back. And yeah, you can make an argument that, man, it kind of took this girl a couple of years to finally find her mojo, find that swag, find that persona and everything. Yeah, it definitely took her a while, but she's still a relatively young woman, right? And I know that for some people, you're like, man, this girl's been involved with WWE for almost 10 years. It's like, well, not for nothing, but they got a hold of her when she was pretty damn young. This girl is 29. She's going to turn 30 in September, mid to late September. So just think about that. If she's 29 right now, and she started messing with the WWE back in 2015. So you guys do the math right there. We have watched this girl become a woman before our very eyes. So yeah, of course, it was going to take her a little bit to, find her groove and things and everything. But I tell you what, once she had finally hit pay dirt, honestly, it was really when she became the SmackDown GM or whatever. That's really when she finally started, okay, now she's stringing it all together. Okay, this is great. This is great. And yeah, she had that weird stalker crap that was going on. I'm sure that messed with her head big time. Great to see what eventually happened to that piece of crap and everything, but it's kind of one of those deals where you use it as some type of form of motivation to keep you going, try to look at the positive sides of life and everything. And tough break. It really is a tough break for her. It really is. But I believe she'll bounce back. She still has time on her side. They're always, let me tell you something, a talent like Sonya Deville, who is a pretty decent, well-rounded performer in the ring. Add that on top of the, at times, could be a nuclear heat persona, and she's still just scratching the surface at that. It's up to the writers involved to really put her in a position where we're really going to give you something you can sink your teeth into. We know what you're capable of, but you know, we haven't even had you scratch the surface yet. It's going to be up to them to really go there and everything. And look, not for nothing, but if you really take a step back and you think about it, there's definitely some interesting angles that you can do for Sonya when ultimately, you know, she is ready to return and everything. You could easily have her go for Adam Pearce's job. If you want to turn that into some type of a lawsuit or whatever, you could easily have Chelsea Green waving that flag and trying to hold Adam Pearce accountable and everything. It's very easy to go in that route. Very, very easy to go in that route. But speedy recovery to Sonya Deville. Speedy recovery to her. I think as far as the talk of Raw, I kind of feel as though we were done. I think we went through pretty much all the other matches, give or take. Let me just look at the rest of the card real quick, make sure. Yeah, we got done with the talk of Raw. Yeah, we were good. Because I know sometimes one thing kind of blends into another and everything. If you guys been enjoying yourself so far, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way here on a weekly basis. That's good water. That's good water. All right, some other tidbits that we can get into on tonight's show here. So how about that stuff that went down in New York City, by the way, with that gamer that decided, I mean, if there was ever a time to have a publicist, if there was ever time to have some type of a team, this is now. I just want to know who thought in their right mind that, okay, we're going to give away a couple of gift cards and we're going to give away a PlayStation 5. We're going to do it in New York City. What could possibly go wrong? Seriously, what could possibly go wrong? You know, I just couldn't help but go, wow. When I had saw this, to hear about the amount of damage that was done, you know, we had people that were going into local businesses, damaging property, causing a ruckus, stealing stuff. I know one store owner, he actually got assaulted. Hey, you're going, what the hell? You had people that were jumping up on cars and all kinds of, what they say, 60 people were injured. Yeah, people that were like in the thousands that was up there. It was freaking ridiculous. Obviously, you got to have some type of a permit and right for a gathering and all that. So strike one right there because you didn't get it all cleared and everything. And you know it's bad when the guy that set this whole thing up, that he called himself trying to organize this. You know it's bad when the guy looks at it and goes, oh man, hell no, I need to get up out of here. This is terrible. Okay, you know that it's bad when that goes down. Okay, I am not sorry that this kid is now going to be facing some type of charge and everything. I am not, what's his name? Kai Senate or whatever. Huge giveaway. This huge giveaway in New York City. I mean, debates. It just drew huge crowds to the Union Square in New York City. How bad was this? It was so bad that you had the public transit system. They pretty much said, yeah, we're gonna bypass this. We're gonna bypass this stop right here. Yeah, if you want to get to the sorry, we're bypassing this because there's just so much stuff that's going on here. So this is a person that has 4 million followers on YouTube, over 5 million on Instagram, and 6.5 million on Twitch. And on his respected Twitch stream last Wednesday, he talked about how he would be hosting a huge giveaway this past Friday at 4 p.m. in Union Square Park. And in the stream, he said he would be giving away computers, PlayStation 5s, microphones, keyboards, webcams, gaming chairs, headphones, and gift cards from a truck in Union Square. Okay? I feel like New York really deserves it, he said. So you have people gather at this area 1 hour before it was supposed to go down and everything. And soon the park and the surrounding streets, it just got bombarded with people left and right. It went from very quickly, it went from about maybe 300 people to over 1,000, like in just minutes. This was so bad that the NYPD had to activate a level 4 response, which is like its highest level of a disaster response, basically, right? This is just insane. Insane. As one person had said, you had people walking around with shovels, axes, and other tools from the construction, he said. Now, you all are hearing that. You're going, wait, huh? What the hell? So as the crowd grew, individuals in the park began to commit acts of violence towards the police and the public. This is according to one spectator that had saw, what all was going on. He said that some of the attendees took items from a nearby construction site. So the shovels, axes, tools, right, that was from the construction site and everything. Individuals were also lighting fireworks, throwing them towards police. They were throwing them towards each other. So this YouTuber, he was obviously removed for safety reasons and everything. And, he said the Twitch streamer had not alerted the police to the gathering or obtained a permit, and it was declared an unlawful assembly. Representatives for Senate AMP Group say they are deeply disheartened by the outbreak of disorderly conduct that occurred Friday. Members of AMP hope to create a positive experience for fans and give back as a show of appreciation for their support. A statement from AMP Media obtained by CNN reads, We've hosted fan meetups and video shoots in the past, but we've never experienced anything at the scale of what took place yesterday. During a Saturday news conference, New York City Mayor Eric Adams said he believes outside influencers may have attempted to aggravate the situation. You don't come to get free Game Boys and bring smoke bombs and bring M80s, Adams said. The mayor said the gathering, which could have turned really ugly, is not a policing issue. This is a parenting issue, he said. It is, and look, there's a lot of things that could be said that's true in regards to all of this that had went down. Okay, just stay with me and feel me on this for a hot minute. Yes, bad parenting, for sure. Those that had other intentions and they decided they were gonna be up to some good old mischief, yeah, when it's all said and done. But then even at that, it's so easy to say bad parenting, but what do you say to the parents that are raising their kids right and their kids are acting the correct and proper way around them? However, the minute that kid is no longer in the presence of their parents, they pretty much act like their true self pretty much when they're with their friends and everything. We've all been through that. We've all been through that. We act one way with our parents, and then, okay, coast is clear. Okay, all right, great. You know, then now we're our true selves. So two things can be said that's true. Yeah, you can have parents that's doing a bad job parenting, but then you could also have parents that's actually doing it right. And not for nothing, but, you know, I've heard of kids that have straight A's and all this other stuff, but they are an entirely different beast when they are around their friends, when they are in their natural element, and they can really just be themselves, and there's nobody watching them, scolding them, telling them they can't do that, and all that other crap. Okay, so two things can be said that's true from that standpoint. But then the other thing that you got to look at as well in considering all of this, okay, obviously the police were taken off guard. They weren't given a heads up by dude's people that, hey, look, we're thinking about doing this thing. We would love to be able to do it. We need a permit. We need this. We need that. You know, can you guys help us out? We want to have this be as peaceful as possible, as smooth as possible. Da, 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 da. Okay? So that dude, his whole people, they messed that up. You can't just have a gamer just scratching their balls and say, you know what? I feel like doing a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway this Friday. Come meet me at... No, it doesn't work like that. You got to make sure that, first of all, you truly, truly are aware of the fact that you are a social media influencer. With those stats that I just gave you guys from what's happening with all of the multiple platforms that this guy is on, this man can touch so many people, reach so many people at the speed of light. This man has the power. This young boy has the power when it counts the most. Hey, y'all, need y'all to get out there. Make sure you're letting your voices be heard. You go out there and you vote. Hey, people, if you're like me, you're tired of all the violence that's happening in our streets. You know, now more than ever, I need you guys to protest. Da 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 da. You know, I want to go back to something that he had said earlier here. You know, that just kind of made me chuckle a little bit when I first read it. I feel like New York really deserves it. No, New York was fine just without that. New York was fine just without that. There's other things that could have been done more positively that could have had a better impact on New York and New Yorkers out there than, you know, gaming chairs, keyboards, webcams, PS5s. You know, here's an interesting idea. You have that type of social media influence and all of that, right? And you want to give back to New York. You want to try to help out New Yorkers and everything. How about organizing something where you're able to do something for low-income neighborhoods? You're able to do something for parents who are having difficulty making sure that their kids have everything that they need for this upcoming fall semester for school and everything. You know, making sure that they have a computer station, they have a computer, they got a keyboard, they got a webcam, you know, they got, right? How about doing something that's really paying it forward? That's really utilizing the position that you have and really doing something good about it. I think this kid honestly knew what was gonna go down. He just did not expect it was going to happen at the magnitude in which it did. I think the kid honestly knew what he was doing. He was just a little bit naive about it. There's a lot that's at fault right here. There really is. There's a lot that's at fault. And whoever is composing of his team for Kai, whoever is making up his team, they either need to be replaced. Okay, they either need to be replaced and or they need to be fired. Okay, plain and simple. take your pick. Replaced, fired, same damn thing for some of y'all, but you get what I'm saying. This was just poorly disorganized, poorly executed. You know, I laughed at the fact that we had a decent amount of people that were looking at this as an opportunity to say, PS5 is continuing its dominance. You don't see this happening with Xbox. And it's like, really, dude? We're really gonna go there. We're really gonna go there. We've got people saying big deal that, you know, somebody came into this old man's convenience store and they were stealing chips and sodas and other stuff. You know, big deal. It's okay. It's no problem. Like, really? Really? Okay, well, let me see you go down there and, you know, next time some stuff like this is going to happen, let me see you go down there and just, it's okay. Nothing to see here. Everything's good. This was poorly disorganized. What this honestly felt like to me was, what's the right words I'm looking for? This felt like rubbing one's own ego. I'm gonna do this little thing for these peasants over here and watch how they all scatter like cockroaches. Watch how they all will just pop up, you know, just to possibly get a hand of a PlayStation 5. And like, I'm probably only gonna give away one, maybe two, maybe three, right? And yeah, just watch how this is gonna, no, man. And it backfired in such a huge way. It's ridiculous. Lufisto. I didn't get a chance to talk about this on the show last week, and because honestly, by the time this went down, I was already done until SummerSlam night, and then it was just a evolving story that just kept getting WTF. And you know, looking at this, what do I say about Lufisto? Lufisto is somebody, if you've been checking out my show for a long period of time, you know that Lufisto is somebody that I have a great deal of admiration and respect for. I've appreciated all of her contributions to the business, particularly to women's wrestling. This girl has been at it, you know, she's been at it since like the late 90s, early 2000s. She's been at it that long. And I've checked out her work off and on. I would say, as far as like when she finally did come into the radar for me, for yours truly, I would say it was the mid 2000s. And then I pretty much had backtracked from there to try to figure out what all I had been missing, you know, up to that point. But I've seen a lot from her respected career. So to hear her be very vocal about what all she had saw during her tenure in working for the AEW promotion. And for the record, she came into doing work for AEW, and I like how she documented that. You know, it was QT Marshall. They were at some little convention or whatever. He was happy to run into her. Wanted to know if she'd be up for appearing on an episode of AEW Dark. Wanted to try to see if maybe they could get her in as a coach, as a producer. And she was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be awesome."
There's never been a better time to get away.
What the hell?
A great deal on the.
Okay, I don't know, guys. That came out of nowhere. You got me. But yeah, she wanted the opportunity there to, okay, yeah, I would love to. Yeah, let's do it. So she goes to this joint and, you know, they wanted her to have a COVID test. There was no way she was going to be able to do it in the short time span allowed. And that pretty much, don't worry about it. Hey, you know, how about your gear? You know, just come on, just bring your gear. It's all good. You know, just do this. So you got to go back to the August 6, 2022 episode of Dark Elevation. There was a 6-woman tag match. Lufisto teamed up with Emi Sakura and the Bunny as they took on Ruby Soho, Anna Jay, Sky Blue. And forgive me if I don't go, you know, fully all over the place with this whole Lufisto, because My God, man, we'd be here all night, right? I'd be a granddad by the time I'm done with the whole thing, and probably a great granddad. There's a lot. I would definitely recommend you go out of your way and you check out the thing, the interview that she gave to Fightful and everything. They were the only ones that she was willing to, expand her thought to. Because remember how all of this started. She had put some cryptic tweet out there in which everybody thought she was talking about Britt Baker, and Fightful was among the first to say, "No, she's not." And this was before she granted them the interview, but Fightful was the first to say, "Yeah, this has nothing to do with Britt Baker." Everybody was under that impression, and the fact that, and I gotta push back on Lufisto just a little bit here. I'm a hardcore, long-time Lufisto fan, but I did not like the fact that she let Britt Baker hang out there for so long, and she never did, not once, put out a tweet when everybody was like, Britt Baker, Britt Baker, Britt Baker, Britt Baker. She never did put out a tweet saying, look, I see a lot of the stuff that's coming out there, and y'all are saying Britt Baker. Sorry guys, it's not Britt. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not Britt. So I wasn't a fan of that, because if you're gonna talk cryptically about somebody, and you've got all these people that are just and there's one unanimous name that just keeps popping up, and now everybody is just running with that as a fact, you gotta do your part as the one that's basically putting it out there. You gotta do your part in making sure that, yeah, folks, I'm not talking about this person, right? You gotta do your best. So I wasn't a fan of that. That rubbed me the wrong way big time. Big time. If you got enough energy and time to jump out there and put out whatever cryptic little thing that you're going to be putting out there, and it's already bad enough that there is a particular wrestler and said promotion that's kind of catching a bad rep online, and those people very easily can, well, surely they're talking about, so you got to scale that back. You definitely got to put some type of a rebuttal out there. No, it's not that person. To the contrary, y'all. It's not, no. Won't tell you who it is, but it's not that person, okay? So, her talking about how everybody was just off in their own little world. These groups are over here, and these people are over here, and a couple of people were looking at me, giving me the dirty-eyed look and everything. I see Ruby Soho. She wanted to know what I'm doing there. I told her, she runs in the Jade Cargill. Jade's pretty excited to see her. Jade's hoping that maybe they're going to work a match together. She tries to go find out. Turns out, nope, wasn't meant to be. Sky Blue, didn't like what she had to say about Sky Blue, and Sky Blue is somebody whose career I've been following since the NWA. That's where I first came across young Sky Blue and her work, and if you follow any of my social media postings, let alone my reviews on AEW Rampage, anytime Sky Blue is involved in a match, I'm always singing the young girl's praises. Yes, she is cute, and yes, but as far as in the ring goes, she definitely, honestly, cold-heartedly, she is talented. And here she is taking jabs at Sky Blue. I don't know if she was mute or, she just didn't care. I'm paraphrasing here, but to take the digs that she did at Sky Blue, essentially dragging her name into this whole mix as well, I'm shaking my head going, well, Lufisto, all due respect, but we're talking about 2022, right? This girl was, because this episode of Dark Elevation was on August 6th of 2022. So that means that Sky Blue would have been 22 years old, give or take. She either would have been 21 or 22 around that time period. So you're going, Lufisto, you've done it all. You've been through it all, honey. You're somebody that's 43 years old. You've been at it since 1997. since 1997. This young girl's been at it since 2016, 2017. She's still a kid. She still has a long way to go. Yeah, if she's kicking back, mostly being a little bit quiet, just nodding her head and everything, maybe it's because she is still trying to feel her way through the business. Maybe she is still at that sponge period where she is trying to take in all that she can possibly learn and all of that stuff. So, like, what the hell? And then also, when you rewind it back to April 6th of 2022, when you rewind it to that period, I don't think Sky Blue was offered a AEW contract just yet. I don't believe she was offered a AEW contract just yet. Hypothetically speaking, let's say she was offered a contract. You think she's going to rock the boat? Let's say she was given a contract around that period. You think she's going to rock the boat? No, she's still a newbie. She's, right? No. So, I didn't like that. That, wasn't really cool. So, Lufisto excuses herself. I don't know, use the bathroom or whatever. Comes back, catches Dustin Rhodes talking with Ruby Soho. It was obvious that they were talking about her. That's the worst kind of that you can do to somebody. The worst kind of talking is when the person is off in another room or whatever, basically behind that person's back. Yeah, we call that again, that is talking, okay? Not a fan of that whatsoever. I'm like this, you're an adult, I'm an adult, we should be able to meet in the same room. We don't need nobody else around. Whatever you got to say to me, whatever ill wills you feel I've done to you, whatever strife I've sent your way, like you and me, we're adults, we can handle this out. We can dish all of this out. We can take care of this right then and now. So, Dustin, pretty much getting into Lufisto's face, was initially very friendly with her, but, Ruby Soho excusing herself after saying whatever to Dustin. And Dustin, coming right back, with also all French Canadians are a-holes, huh? And Lufisto, excuse me, what are you talking about? And obviously she was involved in a pretty bad relationship with somebody that was at times abusive to her and everything. And she tries to go do this match, tries to focus on this match that she had, and she gets told after the fact that everything that she did in that match was wrong, and she came off looking like a knucklehead and disrespectful to the other girls. And she had a second set of eyeballs watch the match, and they didn't even see any of the stuff that she was saying and that Dustin, safe to say that it was Dustin that probably was looking at this match and everything. So she had some pretty strong things to say about what all she had noticed there in AEW, particularly what was going on there with the women. She homed in more on Ruby Riot, Ruby Soho, mentioned how they had a match as early as like 2015. They had some matches here and there, but it looks like everything had began in 2015. It's one match where Ruby got a little banged up. Lufisto was trying to make sure, hey, you sure you want to go through with this particular spot? Ruby's pretty much, yeah, bring it. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. And your guess is as good as mine if Ruby had some type of a chip on her shoulder from that particular period. Now, Lufisto claims that the reason why she didn't make it to the Big Fed, remember around 2018, there was, hey, Lufisto, what's up with Lufisto in WWE? How about, well, Lufisto said the reason why she didn't get to make it to the Big Fed is because someone had politicked her out of the company. So, I'm thinking back to that period, and, I don't think it was Ruby. Sure, Ruby might have been able to get in somebody's ear, but I honestly don't believe Ruby has that kind of Hulk Hogan stroke. I don't believe that whatsoever, so we can pretty much forget about that. It's interesting, though, for as long as Lufisto has been involved in the respective business, it's interesting how NWA, Impact Wrestling, MLW, WWE, it's interesting how she's never been able to do something with these respective promotions, even if it's for a short-term basis. It's just interesting what's going on there. So, now you're hearing this stuff about Ruby Riot, and you're going, what the hell is going on here? Like, seriously. So Dustin taking the social media, responding to the interview that Lufisto gave, and he said, "Hey Lufisto, read your story, and sometimes as a coach, I have to be very honest and won't ever tell you a lie about how good or bad it was. Sometimes hard love comes out and wouldn't have it any other way. I hope you find what you're looking for. Hashtag keep stepping." So, and look, in regards to Dustin Rhodes, I'm not the only person, and I'm not sorry if anybody hears this and they find this to be some form of breaking news, but Dustin Rhodes has, for the most part, been an asshole for a good number of years. I hate to say that. Are there people that he's legitimately very fond of, very close to, has a lot of love, admiration for? Oh yeah, without a doubt. But myself, other people online, we have come across a Dustin Rhodes that can be very two-faced, that can be very thin-skinned with the least little bit of criticism that comes his way, even if it's a respected form of criticism that comes his way. I can remember many, many years ago, I said it here on the show, but I remember many, many, many years ago, when Dustin was, I think this was around the period where Dustin was done with the WWE. I want to say, I believe this was way before AEW came into the picture. But man, it feels like maybe it was about 5 to 7 years ago, give or take. But I remember I had been able to reach out to Dustin directly. And it was a professional email, and I basically had said to him, "Hey, Dustin, my name's Lee Sanders, and I'm the host of," I explained who I was, gave him all the stat information for the podcast and everything, and I told him, I said, "Look, we would be greatly honored and appreciative if you'd be willing to do an interview. Let me know if you might be interested." And he came right back, and he just had this snarky 1-2 word, basically of, he wasn't interested. And actually he said, "No, I'm not interested. I don't do freebies." He said something along those lines. So, replied back and said, "Oh, hey, that's totally understandable in the line of work that I've been in, for these years now. Yeah, I'm aware of some talents that want to be compensated for their time. Hey, look, you tell me whatever amount you'd like to be compensated for, because honestly, I'm thinking maybe about a 15-minute to a 30-minute interview, so we can compensate you for that very easily. Just, let us know, what you're seeking." And then there was another rude reply, and, it was basically fuck off. And it was like, whoa, like, what is... And I remember even responding. I was like, man, I was like, what's going on? Like, why are you being, and I left it alone. And then I remember there was this other time, this was out in the open on social media, there was something that he had said. I kind of feel as though maybe it was something not wrestling related. It was something not wrestling related. Maybe it was a bit political, I'm not sure. But I remember I had said something constructive as a rebuttal to what he was saying. He was very respectful. Wasn't cursing him out or anything. Dude ended up blocking me. And he's operated much worse, with other people online. I've heard people have similar experiences in dealing with him. But the whole point is the guy can be two-faced to a lot of individuals and everything. So, I'm looking at what Dustin had said there. There really was no need for Dustin to say anything here. This just could have easily been one of those, you know what, I'm not going to say, but he chose to jump out there and, as a coach, let's read that again together. I have to be very honest and won't ever tell you a lie about how good or bad it was. Sometimes hard love comes out and wouldn't have it any other way. Now, Dustin, I hope you having that same energy for all those times that Britt Baker has been having a really bad match. And I've been here on this show many times and I've said, what Britt Baker are we going to get? Are we going to get Britt Baker that actually is going to go out there and she knows what she's doing? Or are we going to get Baker? Which Baker's going to show up? I hope that Dustin is having that same kind of energy for however he was coming at Lufisto and talking to her, whatever type of way. Obviously, it was disrespectful for her to the point that she had to speak upon the experience. Obviously, it impacted her that badly, negatively, that she had to share it in that interview. And he want to talk about, I'm just coming from a place where I'll always tell the truth, even if it might hurt your feelings. I'll always give it to you right between the eyes, even if it comes in the form of hard love. I'll always give it to you. Okay. So for Britt Baker, I'm looking at her. She's at the very top of that list. You throw a name at me. I'm hoping that he is being that critical to all the women on that AEW roster and giving them that same kind of tough love. Because I gotta say, there's been many weeks where I've looked at that women's division and I've just shaken my head and I've gone, what the hell is going on here? So that's Dustin's whole response. And then you have this other hilarious thing that goes down, like literally at about the same time. About 2 days after this Lufisto interview comes out and everything, it's almost as if everybody was in, what's the app that everybody uses now? I'm trying to think of, not Snapchat. It's another app that most people use on their jobs these days. WhatsApp. It's almost as if the whole AEW roster was in WhatsApp and they're synchronizing their rebuttals online to Lufisto and everything. And we had MJF who came in there. If you listen to miserable people who never made it in this sport, that's not exactly the brightest thing to do. Use your brain. If someone's been in professional wrestling for over a decade and you find them to be talented, but they've never truly panned out, there's a reason for it. 1, lack of talent. 2, difficulty to work with. 3, delusional. Just to name a few. Now I got a pause right there. So what would you say to a guy like LA Knight? Never heard anything negative about LA Knight. Not one thing. Just when it comes to, so how come all this time, here's this guy that's now 40, how come this guy never What was going on in the previous 20 years? Why didn't this guy make it? And for whatever respected reason, it just wasn't his time. Just wasn't his time to be in the spotlight. You know, sometimes that can be part of the whole equation as well. Not to mention injuries. Maybe you have the unfortunate luck of dealing with injuries. It could be not just those three things that MJF is mentioning, but it can be these other things that I'm mentioning as well, just to name a few. MJF would go on to say, people love to talk ill of companies and will say things like, I'm the only person who's brave enough to speak up, when in reality, the only person you're spewing is because you are aware deep down you aren't going to make it. So what's the harm in spewing reckless lies and trying to hurt hardworking, talented people on your way down to obscurity? We have an amazing women's locker room. Sorry, not sorry. And then you got Britt Baker, who was responding to some person about a retweet or whatever, wanting to shoot on Thunder Rosa, because supposedly Thunder Rosa had called a meeting where Thunder Rosa, I guess, wanted to air some things out or whatever, get some things off her chest, give the women's locker room a chance to air out any or what have you. And Britt responded to this essentially saying, no, false. Thunder called the meeting to discuss multiple / personal issues. There was no meeting to shoot on her. These are salacious Twitter rumors. I'm sure when she's ready, she can help clarify. Now, why is Britt responding to it? Because when Lufisto gave the interview to the people at Fightful, she mentioned how she had, actually, let me think for a second. I believe she mentioned the Thunder either in the interview or it was the very next day, where she talked about how supposedly there were some women that did try to, or people, let's say people, be on the safe side. There were people that had tried to speak up, and Tony Khan had essentially sent them home or whatever, and somehow Thunder Rosa's name came out of Lufisto's mouth, and thus that's how Britt pretty much entered the picture here. But now look, now you've got Britt bringing Thunder Rosa into this. So now it's going to be one of those, what the hell is Thunder going to be saying about this? Ruby Soho, the women in AEW locker room don't just claim to be in support of women's wrestling, they show it. Whether you see it or not, the ones who don't ask for credit after they stand in gorilla and cheer for two women who beat each other to a pulp for your amusement. The ones who lend an enhancement talent their knee pads because they forget theirs at home. The ones who sit in the locker room with a sobbing peer for an hour to console her when she's having a bad day. Those women are silent heroes. Just because the voices you hear are the loudest doesn't mean the voices are speaking the truth. Taya Valkyrie, this narrative that all the AEW women hate each other is quite frankly annoying. I've been here for 5 months and everyone from the second I walked in that building has been nothing but supportive, hyping each other up, and badass. Stop pinning women against each other. It's getting old. Tay Mello, I never saw a group like ours. It makes me mad that people try to they don't know about. Keep talking because we will keep working hard and shining. Nyla Rose, one person's personal experience is not the gospel truth. B, facts. C, anything but one perspective influenced by personal experience and interaction. I'm sad, hurt, annoyed, angry, and honestly a little betrayed. Funny thing is, it's not by a single woman in our locker room. Even Renee Paquette said some stuff. Kayla Sparks, almost 2 years ago, I had the biggest opportunity of my life and made my AEW debut at AEW Grand Slam. My experience since day one at AEW has always been positive, and everyone in the locker room is so welcoming. So, I mean, this is just this, this is just a sample. Now, Lufisto did respond to pretty much everything that came down from, entirely a whole AEW locker. Just get her. It was almost like that scene in Thriller. Get her, Thriller, get her. It's like one of those type of joints. Lufisto saying, good that everybody at AEW got the memo to write as much on me as possible so I can be seen. This is how she's wording it. I'll try to clean this up. So I can be seen as a waste of a human being not worth living. Even people who never had a single conversation with me. Even better to see people I never did anything wrong be so desperate to get a job jumping on the bandwagon. Soon, I'll see you hypocrites be part of a Be a Star and Mental Health Matters advertisements acting like you care. Enjoy your paychecks and keep on stabbing each other in the back pretending this is normal. I can only hope that your hate towards me will get you to finally work together for the best of women's wrestling now that problems have been called out. So many are miserable, frustrated, and will whisper their anger, but never will stand and speak up. I wanted to leave this world knowing women's wrestling was better. It was for a while, but not anymore. The sad part is that you accept it without saying a word. It is what it is. What a waste. So that's where we stand on this. And since then, apparently Lufisto has deactivated her Twitter account. Now, I don't know if her Facebook account is deactivated as well, because I've been following her on Facebook for the longest time. I actually used to participate in some of her live streams that she would have up and everything. And yeah, it looks like her Facebook page is gone now as well. Hang on, I'm just trying to confirm. Yeah, her Facebook page is officially now gone as well. And like I said, her Twitter account, that's now deactivated. When you try to put in Lufisto, as I'm typing it in right now, she's not even coming up anymore. So yeah, account doesn't exist. So now here's the thing. It says the account doesn't exist. So here's the thing. If she has deactivated it, she can still easily turn right back around, because Twitter or X, they give a certain amount of time for you to retrieve your account. I don't know what that time frame is, but she changes her mind. But I got to be honest with you guys, I do not expect her to change her mind when it comes to social media, because I'll let you guys in on a little something. A couple of months back, she actually had talked about deactivating her accounts because she wasn't a fan of what was going on with social media. She had talked about how it was starting to become very toxic and she just wasn't feeling it anymore. Right down to the point, she mentioned how, hey, if you guys noticed, there used to be a time where I would post all different types of things. I'd talk about my pets, I would do streams, little hangouts, and it's just not the same anymore because of the level of toxicity and everything. So if anything, I'm surprised that she hasn't deactivated her accounts even sooner, because the one thing that always struck me with Lufisto, it's so interesting, because here's a woman that's been involved in the business for well over 2 decades. You've never heard anything negative. Never heard anything negative about Lufisto. Yeah, you still wondered, wow, how come, this woman didn't get that break? How come she didn't get that break with this promotion or this promotion? And it's kind of one of those, man, you know what? The world may never know, unfortunately. What the hell? But you never heard anybody say anything negative about this woman and everything. Okay? So you never heard her take, also in addition to that, you never heard her take such a, this is where I'm drawing the line in the sand, and these are my thoughts on it. I've got to be vocal about this because I cannot take no more. She's never been one of those types of outspoken people, not from that standpoint. So the fact that she did say what she said, now she's saying that there are some people that's part of that AEW roster that has spoken to her about some of the things that they've seen and they've experienced, and they've pretty much said, look, I'll give you some dirt, but you can't mention my name. Can't mention my name. I'll give it to you, but I don't want to. I got a good thing going, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Kudos to her for, and look, I don't think she's lying. She doesn't have a track record for being a liar, telling lies. She doesn't have that type of, so maybe the intel that she was given from the people, maybe it is legit. But let's not also forget that someone else that was part of the AEW women's roster not that long ago, let's not forget about how she had tried to be vocal about her time in AEW. And when she did, oh man, not only did we have Tony Khan come at her, and I mean, it was woo-wee. It was really, really bad, the way Tony Khan had responded to her and everything. But there were some people that jumped out there from AEW that had tried to take a couple of shots at her as well. Big Swole. Y'all remember that? Rewind it back a little bit. We're still talking about Lufisto, but rewind it back a little bit. Go back to 2021, fourth quarter. Big Swole had announced that she and AEW had mutually parted ways. And she was signed to the company back December of 2019 after she participated in the Casino Royale that same year. She got sidelined in early 2021 when she was battling Crohn's disease and everything. And she had did a interview, if you all remember, where she talked about her final conversation with Tony Khan. And she said, and I quote, "I explained to TK that I didn't want to re-sign because my piece was being disrupted. If anybody knows me or knows myself, if anything is disrupting your piece, it's time to let it go. It might be scared or be hard, but it's time to let it go." When Kenny said that, kind of go back a little bit, Swole had began by noting that the most emotional moment she had in AEW was when Kenny Omega thanked her for what she did in the Diamante feud and how it made the other women in the company more comfortable to pitch ideas. So there's your background on that. When Kenny said that, it was the circle coming to an end because Kenny and I would bump heads sometimes throughout my time in AEW. To end it on that note felt good. It felt wonderful to end it at a place where we didn't see eye to eye, but we were there. She then detailed her claims, why she left the company, and what she told them in her exit interview. My heart just stopped being in it as the reason why I left AEW. I felt like there were a lot of things, and I told them in my exit interview, there are a lot of things that need to change. I know fans of the company don't take criticism well, certain ones. Know this is somebody from the inside. The structure is a little off. It's fine to be loose, but I like to have a little bit more structure. I felt like the women shouldn't have gone through everything they went through just to get on TV or get time. You're signed to this big company. You should get time. All these men are getting time, but the women weren't getting anything. Or you're not putting people on TV because more people are coming in. Okay, there are more people coming in, but you don't have enough product for all of these people. Now you have all of these people sitting around having 2 or 3 minute matches on Dark. Doesn't keep me happy. Shoveling more money doesn't keep a person happy. We've seen time and time again, especially in a place where there's not enough space. There's no writers in a sense. Not everyone is comfortable writing their own things. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's exactly what that environment is. If you are shy and don't know how to write or are not creative, it's not going to work unless they want it to work for you. That's one of their biggest issues. And she also had talked about the lack of diversity that was going on and everything. And I'm sure you guys probably remember the comments that Tony Khan had there for Big Swole. I'm sure you guys remember that, right? If you all don't remember that, it was really, really bad. Because I remember coming right back here on the show after Tony Khan had put the very, very bad tweet out responding to Big Swole. I mean, he pretty much was bad-mouthing her wrestling and all of that. It was really, really bad. Matter of fact, I'm trying to see if I can actually pull it up right now. Let me see where Tony Khan. Yeah, this is what he said. The top 2 AEW execs are brown, me and Mega. This is what he said at the time. Jade, Bowens, Caster, Dante, Nyla, Isaiah, and Mark Quinn all won on TV this month. The TBS title tournament has been very diverse. I let Swole's contract expire as I felt her wrestling wasn't good enough. Hashtag AEW Rampage Street Fight tonight. Okay, so I bring all this up to mention this to you guys. We have seen Tony Khan, the king of them all, when it comes to taking some type of constructive criticism, feedback for his promotion, for his programming. He is very, very poor at taking it on the chin, or, right down to the point. He's got to acknowledge it. He's got to acknowledge it. There's no way that you're going to come off getting in a dig on his promotion and live to continue to do whatever on social media like it's just a usual, typical, casual day. No. We have seen him time and time again. See, now he's scaled it back drastically, and now he's pretty much in the shadows here. Just, it's funny to see how all of the attacks that Lufisto had came like literally at the same time. I mean, you're looking at some of those timestamps and you're going, my God, seriously, man. What the hell is going on here? Right down to the comments that Tony Khan had made from the Triple H comments from Cody Rhodes DVD. The most correct way to have approached that would have been, yeah, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being number 2. Yeah, look, WWE, nobody's going to take it away from them. They have been a institution in the very fabric of all things entertainment and pop culture for over 60-something years now. And they aren't going away no time soon. Other than WCW and what they all were able to do back in the day when they had the WWE on their toes for 83 weeks, they haven't seen a legit competitor / adversary since. until now. And you know what? Yeah, they're number one in a few areas, but you know what? We got a lot going on for us right now. We just renewed with Warner Discovery Media, We're still ironing out the kinks on what eventually is going to be happening with our AEW Plus app, or whatever you want to say right there. We're getting ready to do All In at Wembley Stadium. It's going to have a record-breaking number of folks that's going to be there. We just put out a really great video game. Was hearing about the numbers the other day as far as revenue that's generating from it so far. You could easily spend it and put yourselves over, but the way that he goes about, oh my God, it's just so damn, it's like a little kid having a temper tantrum. I would not be surprised if he was in the WhatsApp with all of those other people, all of those other talents. Guys, you got to do me a favor. You got to go on your social medias and you got to checkmate this woman. I'm saying woman loosely. I'm sure he used a four-letter word for her. Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. And keep in mind, Lufisto had talked about, she mentioned something along the lines of how, essentially Tony Khan doesn't care about the women's division. Some of the women feel like it's going back to the diva days, essentially, and all that other stuff, right? Nobody should feel that way. Seriously, nobody should feel that way. But the fact that Lufisto is no longer on social media, mission accomplished. Great job, guys. I'm saying that sarcastically. Great job. Great job. Now, I'm hearing rumblings. I think it was Eddie that had said Lufisto apparently had popped up for Impact Wrestling. I don't know if that's how accurate that is. I'm going to have to try to catch up on. But if she is in Impact now, good for her. That's definitely good for her. But, yeah, Lufisto was supposed to be done with social media a couple of months back. I'm honestly surprised that she stuck around this long. And it's sad that she pretty much, because I gotta tell you, as far as wrestlers go, say what you will, but as far as wrestlers that did a really good job interacting with their fan base and just really keeping it honest and everything, I always say, if you want to know how sincere a person's true character is, see how they operate with pets, children, the elderly, people with disability. And anybody that took the time out over the years to, follow Lufisto on social media, check out some of her live streams and everything. She is a big pet lover. She loves her cats. I remember there was a period there where off and on in recent years, she had unfortunately lost one cat. There was another one that required more than one surgery. Definitely there was something going on with the eye. Always, it was like almost weekly you had turned around on social media. She was always, hey guys, I could really use your help. Anybody that buys a shirt from my website or gets an 8x10, the money will definitely help go towards getting this surgery for. And I remember I was here on the show at times. I would either mention it, or I would quietly just share, repost all that on my social media feeds and everything. But she definitely was very, very cool. Now, is it possible that maybe some of the information that she was given, some of the intel that she was given, is it possible that some of it might have been a bit inaccurate? It's possible. It's possible, but when you just look at the track record that's already been established in AEW, when you offer any type of constructive criticism, feedback towards Tony Khan and AEW, it's like a boomerang. It always comes back, and there is so much venom that is behind it. It's not even funny. So, some stuff to think about. Some stuff to think about there. Other than that, let's see. Anything else we can get into on tonight's show? Let me just see one other thing here before we get ready to call it for tonight. I kind of feel like I'm forgetting something else, but I don't think I am. I think we're good. Let me give you guys some quick programming notes while I'm trying to jog my memory here. Actually, two things come into my mind. I don't know if he was there tonight, but supposedly Nigel McGuinness was in Minnesota for tonight's WWE Raw, as he's supposed to be with them for the next little bit as a producer. Nigel McGuinness getting a tryout as a producer. I'll talk a lot more about that on Wednesday, but just off the break, we need to see Nigel McGuinness as a in-ring talent. I still think the man can contribute a lot of good ways as an in-ring talent. Also, PW Insider is reporting that Brian Pillman Jr. is believed to have signed with the WWE after training at the Performance Center last month. Remember, his contract with AEW had expired prior, and WWE had shown some great interest in him for quite a while. So talk about a full circle homecoming if this does, if it all works out and he is in fact going to be with the WWE, then good for him. Good for him. When the Brian Pillman story had came out, that Dark Side of the Ring episode, and Brian Pillman Jr. was dominant on that episode. He was one of the major stars for that episode. I remember coming out of that week's Dark Side of the Ring and talking about how, man, if you're AEW, this is good. You now officially have this nice window of an opportunity here where you have a good-looking kid here, and Brian Pillman Jr. looks a lot like his dad. You can definitely, now that you've built that connection, you've bridged the gap there, you can easily build off of this, and AEW never did. Tony Khan and them, they never did. It was one of the in recent memory, as far as major flops, that's definitely one of those head-scratching, how do you get that wrong? So, if he, I'm hoping for everything working out right for him. So, we'll see what happens. Apparently, he's supposed to be involved at the NXT taping going down for tomorrow night. So, whether or not we're actually going to be seeing him make some type of a cameo, we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. So, but your next edition of the RCWR show, that's going to be coming at you guys on Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. We'll be live at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll definitely be talking AEW Dynamite Fallout. Also go over what went down on Collision. Talk about the latest rounds of ratings numbers that's come in and everything. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot about this. So apparently AJ Lee, some interesting AJ Lee news. I won't go into any more detail right now, but I'll just tease you guys with that. I'll definitely expand on the thought a lot more because I have a lot to say in regards to that, because I'm looking at that move and I just can't help but go, wow, what does the future hold here? Shout out if you guys already know. That's a nice little Easter egg to set up Wednesday's show. But some very interesting AJ Mendez Brooks news that we got going on there. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. Wherever you get your podcast, search the RCWR show. Once again, hit the subscribe, the like, the bell notifications. It was nice going through some of the interactions from you guys from the Summerslam post show. Apparently some of you guys been checking out the shows for a good minute. You just never commented before. Hey, cool. Always a fun time to comment, so definitely leave it. Some other great content is available as well. Like I said, we got on the YouTube channel right now, we've got the Cody Rhodes documentary review. I've also got, I was out on the weekend and I had tried Wawa's pizza for the very first time, as Wawa is now rolling out pizzas. So yeah, go, check with your local Wawa, but pizzas, whole pizzas, 14-inch or 16-inch, are now available at your local Wawa. So stores may vary, but check it out. Check out my review for it. I kept it short, sweet, and simple. I broke it down in 60 seconds. So it's definitely worth it. Definitely go out of your way, check that out. What else we got up there? I'm working with my buddy and DJ. Shout out to him. You'll be feeling his presence a lot more on the YouTube channel as he's uploading clips of the show onto the channel. He's taking key little show excerpts from each episode, putting them up on the channel. So shout out to him. Appreciate his hard work. My boy is good. Love him. So shout out to him. Once again, shout out to Julian Cannon of the Nocturnal and Digiday. Check out his piece on SummerSlam. He's got some exclusive photos. Great editorial piece on SummerSlam weekend. Go over to the Nocturnal site. Check it out over there. And yes, continue to support the show. We're going to be losing Stitcher at the end of the month because they're getting shut down. They're going bye-bye. So I cannot stress it enough. Leave the ratings and the reviews up on Apple, on Spotify, wherever else you're checking out the podcast versions of the shows, because it definitely, much like YouTube, it definitely helps other people be able to access the content as well. Get at me on Twitter and Facebook at the RCWR Show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you guys next go round. Take care, y'all.